All right, we're recording. All right, very good. I'd like to call the, let's see, what is it, March 8th, 2024 meeting of the Delaware County Land Reutilization Corporation to order. It is 9:02, and all the board members are present. And we'll start off with approving the minutes of the last meeting, which was January 29th of this year. I don't know if anybody has any changes, comments. I would ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Same sign. Okay, minutes are approved. We do have a treasurer's report. There isn't a whole lot of activity, but we'll do a treasurer's report.
No, but I'll walk through it. We had two deposits in February, February 26th for $159,271, and on February 28th, ODOT Brownfield grant of $74,000. And this was to reimburse the land bank for the checks written, and the three checks, I think everyone may have a copy of that, but the 227, a check for $75,000, to the city of Delaware, 227 to Sauter Township, in the amount of $19,471, and on the city of Powell on the same date for $64,800, and those will total the $159,271 that we received in the deposit, the grant, and our balance once those checks clear the bank will be $194,133.24.
Okay, very good. We'll have a lot more activity in the coming months as these projects become active and get done. But anyway, good spot. We're in a good spot there. Financial report.
Do we need a motion to approve the report?
Okay, let's approve the treasurer's report. Anybody has any comments, questions? I'd accept a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the report.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second, Kyle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the motion carries. The treasurer's report is done. Next is a financial report, the audit update. Karen, I don't know if you want to just briefly mention the audit has started, or actually the audit technically hasn't started. The financial report, or financial statements are being prepared.
Yeah, I'm Karen First, Fiscal Manager for the Board of Commissioners. I've been working with Julian and Grube and just got them the last piece of information, so we should have a draft of the financial report here shortly. And Ray and Associates have been in touch, and I've gotten them the initial document request, and I did get something late yesterday from them for more information. So I'll get that to them either today or Monday. So the audit's slowly moving forward, so.
So have they completed their field work, or?
No, they're just starting that.
Okay.
It was probably a couple weeks ago I got them their initial document request.
Okay.
So, so, all right.
Okay, thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
No invoices to approve, so we will move on to the main items of the agenda. I thought we'd tackle the demolition work, grant program work first. Everybody should have received two documents related to the demolition work. One of them is spreadsheets that actually Karen has prepared to help us keep straight exactly what is going on with the demolition grant. These are some Excel spreadsheets that she has prepared. They're very helpful because it shows the flow of money, what's available, what's been spent, that sort of thing, all the different demolition applications and where they stand. And then the demolition update document that Diane Gunther, from the city of Delaware, who is doing an outstanding job of managing this complex process for both the demolition and the brownfield programs. So again, I want to acknowledge her to Kyle and thank everybody at the city of Delaware for her outstanding work. I'll kind of go through them quickly, just to kind of bring everybody up to date, just to summarize it. But round one is almost complete. 3 of the 4 applications are completely done. The 4th one is a couple buildings in Sunbury that still have a little bit of landscaping work to be done, about $10,000 worth. So round one, the initial round one is basically finished. So that leaves, and that left us with about $300,000 for round 2, or round 1 replacement is what they're calling it. I apologize. We originally had 4 applications at our previous meeting that were going to be targeted for round 1 replacements. And unfortunately, one of those, the Delaware County Commissioners, the Channing Street tank removal, was not allowed to be considered a demolition project. So that was pulled and will be moved to the brownfield, possibly. And so, anyway, the Scioto Township and Genoa Township and City of Powell, one building there, have all been approved at the last meeting and are moving forward. So round 1 replacement still has $63,000 available, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any way we can identify a project that would fit the $63,000, because the 2 projects that we have for round 2, which all the round 1 replacement, round 2 are due, the applications are due, complete applications are due April 1st of this year. And the round 2 demolition projects are the City of Powell. There's 4 sites that the City of Powell is collaborating with the Zinios, the developer, to knock down and repurpose those buildings. So those have been submitted to the ODOD and approved, and that leaves $411,000 for the proposal is to use the remainder of the funds. Just back up, each county is entitled to $500,000 in round 2, and the $206,000 takes up $206 of the $500 in round 2 from the City of Powell, and that leaves a little less than $300,000 available for the Ohio Wesleyan University Bashford Hall project. The total estimate for that is $411,000, so that means that, basically 300 of the 411,000 would be eligible for full reimbursement, but anything over 500,000, it requires a 25% local match. So Ohio Wesleyan, if we go forward with that one, Ohio Wesleyan would be asked to pay for about 39,000 of the 411,000, because that's 25% of the amount over 500,000. So anyway, that's where we are.
Jeff, the funding for that, when you say round 2, are you talking the 24-25 money? Are you talking the 22-23 money still?
This is new money.
24-25?
24-25.
Okay.
And it's a new 500,000. Now, where the brownfield and the demolition programs differ is the brownfield is $1 million for each county. There was a round 1, we're now in round 2, but they've already legislated round 3, which will be 25-26. But with the demo program, they legislated round 1 and round 2, but round 3 has not been legislated. Now
Is it in a bill somewhere that's moving? Or
well, it will be proposed, and hopefully at the end of, by the end of June, if not sooner, if they can get the budget bill put to bed, that's where this would probably, be legislated, is in the budget bill, which has to be done by June 30th. So we should know by June 30th at the latest that the round 3, another 500,000 of demolition funding has been made available.
Does Ohio Wesleyan have the 40,000 they need for the match?
My understanding is yes, they are grateful to get, what would it be, about 90%, of the demolition work funded through this program. And I know there's discussion with Ohio Wesleyan I know they're considering knocking down their library, but that they aren't ready to move forward with that. I don't think they've made a decision, don't have the costs and all the other information they need. So that's kind of, if there's a round 3, presumably that would be
And the issue
likely
with the
project.
library, is it primarily mold? Is that
I'm sorry, what, Dave?
the issue with the librry? Is it primarily
Yeah,
mold
it's
issue,
mold,
or
but it's more than that.
it's just the usability?
Yeah, it's usability, it's mold, there's some structural issues, honestly. It's a 60-year-old building-ish, something in that range. So, yeah. So anyway, I know they're,
If there's mold, could they do a two funding source project if they decided to?
I don't think it can
remediate?
be split. It has to be one or the other. Yeah, I'm sure it can't be split.
Okay.
It has to be one or the other. But and that's part of the reason, you know, that it isn't ready to go forward at this point. But, so anyway, that's where we are on the demolition. I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything. Any comments? Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Susan Zimmerman, and I'm here on behalf of Ohio Wesleyan. Our president was told to come at 9:30 to do the presentation,
Oh,
so
oh.
I'm kind of expecting him to come and to do
Should-
that.
Is he coming?
He is.
Okay,
yes.
do you want to just wait till, because we can go through the brownfield stuff. and
Could
then
could
we'll-
we do that? I think that
Oh,
would be
sure,
better.
sure.
Great.
I didn't
Thank
realize
you.
Matt was coming, so good to know. So, anyway, that's where we are tentatively with the demolition work. Now, on to the brownfield. Brownfield's a little more straightforward, I think. Let's see. I think we talked about all those. So on the brownfield, the only item we had in round one was the Sunny B property. And that was an application for $218,000. And there were two main work projects related to that. One was getting rid of the asbestos, and then one was getting rid of the annex and the garage behind the back and so on. The environmental work has been done, payment's been received and settled. The clearing of the property, the demolition work is mostly done. There's some remediation work and some landscaping and so on that needs to be finished. That'll be done in the next few weeks. Anyway, that's where we are with Sunny B. Now, we do need to, on Sunny B, we need to reimburse, not reimburse, we need to give some money to, I guess reimburse is probably the right word. The buyers of the property are entitled to a reimbursement up to 10% of the construction work that's done as the acquisition, as a reimbursement of their acquisition costs, because they took on a brownfield project. So that is one of the items that we need to act on, is authorizing the reimbursement up to 10% of the actual construction costs that you're reimbursed. Originally, we'd budgeted $218,000. I think it'll come in around $190,000, so it'll be a little less than.
So the 10% is out of their pockets, is that what you're saying? Or
Well, they originally bought the property
Right.
for $100,000, and they are entitled to, because it's a brownfield property, they are entitled to be reimbursed for 10% of the
100?
construction costs,
The construction costs?
the remediation costs, and that amounts to probably in the neighborhood of $19,000.
Okay, that comes out of the grant, or it comes out of the?
It comes out of the grant, right?
Okay.
It's reimbursed from the grant.
Okay.
And it's to cover their administration costs for managing the.
Well, the way it's phrased in the documents is it's to reimburse them for a portion of their acquisition cost. So, in other words, a portion of their $100,000 that they paid to acquire the property versus, calling it administrative cost.
So they're entitled to 10,000?
10%.
10% of the 100,000?
10% of the
You said
construction
acquisition
costs.
costs, huh?
10% of the remediation costs.
Okay, I thought I heard you say acquisition costs there, maybe I misunderstood you.
Well, up to their acquisition.
Oh,
costs.
okay. Nothing is simple.
So if they paid $5,000, they'd only get $5,000.
I got you.
But they paid 100, so that means
I
they
get
could
you.
get up to 100. But the remediation costs are in the 190 range. So is that clear as mud? Did I make that sufficiently
little clear.
confusing?
'Cause
So, again, this is the part of the reason that it's great having Diane do this, is she knows all these things and is able to work her way through the labyrinth of the rules, and she has a great relationship with ODOD, who's doing a nice job. They're being responsive and guiding us through this process as well, so.
And ODOD has confirmed that, yes, acquisition costs are reimbursable.
Yep. Within those constraints. Yep. So
Okay,
that is one action item I wanted to ask the board to approve today, that we can go ahead and release that 10%, up to 10% of the construction costs to the owners.
Which we will then be reimbursed for through the.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And we've verified that with ODOD, that it is eligible.
so would we be front funding these out of our funds and then getting reimbursed? Or would we submit the request for reimbursement to ODOD?
I
once
think
got
we
it
have
and
to
pay it
front
the
it.
owners?
I'm pretty sure we have to front again, roughly 19,000. But we fronted all the remediation costs anyway and got reimbursed for those, so that's the way this process has worked.
Got it.
So, yeah, again, so anyway, Sunnybee's unique, it's the only one in round one, we're almost done with it. And, you know, with the cleanup work that remains, the little bit, Sunnybee should start working on the interior, well, and the exterior too, they still got a lot of work on the exterior, but they'll get moving. So, anyway, I would entertain a motion to approve up to 10% of the remediation costs to pay to the owners as a partial reimbursement for their acquisition costs.
So moved.
Wait,
Oh, sorry.
and also, before you do that, with the understanding that we will be reimbursed.
Yes.
Could we add that to the resolution? or the-
Yes, yep. And we'll be reimbursed.
So moved.
Okay, second?
With that understanding, second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same
No.
sign? I'm sorry, what, did you say no, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that is it for round one of the brownfield. We are, round two is, again, another $1 million that we have available, guaranteed to each county from the state. And we have two projects and maybe a third. The Laner project, which is the 7775 Dublin Road project. Well, there's President Vandenberg, welcome. We started at 9, Matt, so I'm sorry, but we started a little earlier than what you thought we were going to, so we're moving through the agenda. We'll go back to the demolition work here in a minute, but we're working on the brownfield stuff. Anyway, there's two items for the brownfield discussion. One is Laner, and that's really pretty much done. You know, we approved it at the last meeting. It is $400,000. They're, you know, Diane has verified, state's good with it, got an approval or endorsement from the township to submit, and so on. So that one is moving along. Don't really need any action at that one, at this point, but we do have a second one, and that is the US 23 storage tanks, which is $49,100. There was, I think, in the document Karen had prepared, originally we were talking 49,000, we have to change it to 49,100 because we got an estimate for the assessment work, and that was 5,100. You know, so it was $100 more. But anyway, we're looking at 49,100 project costs for the removal of storage tanks on US 23 North. There are agreements that need to be completed. So, anyway, that's interested in thoughts, comments on that?
Is there Buster money available?
I don't know. I don't know. This program will take care of it.
I thought that ODOD said that they would not approve a project that was for underground storage tank removal.
Don't know about that. They've approved this one, so for whatever reason. I mean, Diane has gotten to go ahead with ODOD on this one.
This is the US 23 that says right here, per ODOD, abandoned gas station sites are not eligible. Oh, this is demolition, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yep,
All right, I got it now.
okay. Okay, so, anyway, that's where we are on that one. The third one that just came up literally this week is a project in Ashley. It's not an abandoned, it's a service station that they want to redo, remove the tanks and move them elsewhere on the site. So that one is really up in the air in terms of how much it would cost. Diane just doesn't know at this point. That one, I think she is thinking could be, because it's just so uncertain at this point, is more likely to be round 3. We just don't know the estimates, we haven't done the assessments, so that one's just not likely to be available. But there is one, again, going back to the 50 Channing Street, multifamily development site remediation, Homeport. And this one is brand new as well, actually maybe a week or so. But there's 551,000 roughly left of the $1 million to remediate. And the challenge with Homeport is originally they were going to convert our old office building to redevelop it, and now they're thinking they may have to knock it down. It may be more economically feasible just to knock it down. So this one is very much up in the air at this point because, again, the deadline is April 1st, which is a month and a half away. So anyway, that one is a possibility. I think the Ashley gas station just isn't feasible for round 2. So anyway, on the brownfield side, what I'm interested in is, since we don't really have all the details on Ashley or the Homeport project, we do know the laner, we do know with certainty the storage tanks on 23. I don't know how the board would feel, but just giving the board authorization to sign whatever documents are needed, because there's, depending on whether it's public or private, nonprofit, they may need a participation agreement versus a subrecipient agreement. And so, and we have a really tight timeline, given that this all has to be done by April 1st. Would the board entertain authorizing the chair, vice chair, maybe a treasurer, just to execute whatever documents are needed to facilitate these application submissions?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. And this is for the brownfield exclusively at this point. We'll get back to the demo. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Brandy, you got what you need?
Just for clarification, who is authorized? Because you listed 3 people.
I think we ought to have 3, just.
Okay,
as
just want to
a-
make sure
Yeah,
the resolution
chair,
reflects
vice chair,
whatever the-
treasurer, just in case there is a document that has to be signed at 4 o'clock on March 31st, that
Okay.
1 or 2 of us might not be available. Okay, so we're good with the brownfield. I mean, again, I think we'll see it with Homeport. That's a big question mark. Ashley, I think, is promising, but I don't think it'll be doable in round 2. All right, back to the demolition project. We've talked about, President Vandenberg, welcome. Good to see you. Glad to have you here, and hopefully we'll be able to help you with the Bashford project. Just a quick summary. Each county gets $500,000 of demolition work in round one, round two, and the round one, originally we spent $200,000 roughly demolishing some buildings, including the Spring Street property, right next to campus there, and that left $300,000. That $300,000 goes into a bucket that we're calling replacement round one, and that $300,000 is basically spoken for. But there's a $500,000 round two that's available, and we've got $200,000 of it basically spoken for with 4 projects in the city of Powell that submitted quite a bit ago and we approved. But that leaves $300,000 for another project or projects, and at this point, the only one that seems feasible to meet the April 1st deadline is the Bashford Hall discussion. So again, the estimate now, I think, is $411,000 for the demolition work. There's almost $300,000 still available from round two, but everything above $500,000 has to be supported by 25% of local match, the organization. And so it'd be roughly $39,000 to cover the remainder. So anyway, didn't know if you had any comments or any further thoughts on that. I think, I know we do record the meetings, so we ask people who speak to come up to the microphone. So, welcome.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, and round two has to be completed by, is it June of next year?
June of next year.
Okay.
Right. Round one, well, all the initial round one and the replacement round one have to be done by June of this year.
Right, but round two, which is the funding
Round two
we're
has
talking
a
about
year
here,
to go.
is June of 25.
Yeah, right.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome.
It's good to be with all of you. Thank you for having us here today, and it's an honor to speak on behalf of all of our students, our faculty, our staff, our board of trustees, and almost, goodness, 40,000 alumni across the county, the state, the country, and the world about our grant application to improve Ohio Wesleyan's campus, but also the city of Delaware and Delaware County. And as you might know, Ohio Wesleyan University is a residential campus. It's with great intentionality that we actually require students to stay on our campus for all 4 years of their experience as a student. And we believe that students learn just as much outside of the classroom as they do inside of the classroom. We believe that they learn and grow substantially when they reside on our campus. It's in our residence halls that students get to develop lifelong relationships. It's in our residence halls that students get to learn how to live and work with people who are different than they are. It's in our residence halls where they form important support networks that help them get the most satisfaction and joy out of their college experience. And it's in our residence halls that our students get to position themselves really strongly for academic success. Our residential model is one of the fundamental reasons that we point to when we think about the success that we've had in retaining and graduating students. We're getting national acclaim for doing that right now. And it's also our residential experience that we point to when we talk about the impressive careers that our graduates go on to have. Because we are a residential campus, it's really important that we commit to providing an excellent living and learning environment for our students, and we need to do that in a way that meets modern norms and expectations of students and their families. Our grant proposal would enable OU to raise Bashford Hall, as was mentioned, a residence hall that has housed bishops now for 60 years or so, a little bit longer than that. Back in 2020, a little bit before my arrival, Bashford reached the end of its useful lifespan, and in my estimation, OU appropriately closed it. Today, Bashford is tired, it's empty, and it's a relic of a bygone era. It's not cost-effective to renovate it, especially given its significant foundation and roof issues, and it's neither architecturally nor historically significant. For these reasons, Ohio Wesleyan would love to be a great neighbor and remove Bashford Hall from the equation to keep our community beautiful and vibrant and, above all things, especially safe. Now, for a little bit of context here, back in 2019, OWU launched a pretty ambitious residential facility renewal plan that's brought, I think, what can only be characterized as tremendous forward progress to both the campus but also the community. So just a few things to point out there. That renewal project has resulted in small living units along Roland Avenue, a beautiful new student apartment complex facing South Liberty Street, and other improvements that have really elevated the look and the feel and the appeal of our neighborhood. The demolition of Bashford Hall is the next step in our residential renewal plan. Now, meanwhile, we are working fervently to restore and preserve treasured campus buildings all throughout our campus. So the renovation of Merrick Hall and Slocum Hall would be excellent examples that I could point to in recent years. But I would also point out that a recent presidential transition has not slowed our progress one iota. I think it was on my third day on the job that I toured Beagley Library and came to the difficult conclusion that we needed to immediately close it, immediately move to a temporary solution, and immediately initiate planning for the library of the future. Now, these are the moves I would say to you of an institution that is on the rise. These are the moves of an institution planning to grow, and these are the moves of an institution with a stacked agenda and a bright future. And I hope that it's clear that our partnership through this grant proposal would accelerate and strengthen all of these ambitious campus improvement and beautification efforts that are now intergenerational in nature. So on behalf of all of Ohio Wesleyan, we believe that the realization of this important project would enrich not only our own campus, but also the city, also Delaware County, and also all who reside and visit our community. So thank you again for the invitation to join you. Thank you for considering this proposal. And thank you all for your partnership in advancing the community that we all love. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay. Again, thank you. Any questions? Yeah, Dave?
The preservation, historic preservation people, I'll call, for lack of a better word, do they have any kind of influence or a role in the projects you're talking about?
Some of them, I believe a couple of the projects that I mentioned are on the National Register of Historic Places, so Merrick Hall and Slocum Hall, but Bashford is neither historically nor architecturally significant.
And the library is or is not?
The library is not.
Okay.
I wouldn't think so. They were both built in the 60s, weren't they?
Yes, 1966, if I recall.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about.
I don't know. I think they have to go
All
back
right.
well before that.
All right,
Kyle,
good.
do you know for sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're blessed to have, I think, 11 buildings on the National Register of
Yeah.
Historic Places. That's unusual for an institution of our size.
And that's
But
a
thank-
blessing.
That is a blessing.
Okay.
That is a blessing.
Most of the time.
From a certain perspective. It can be a challenge at times, but none of the projects that we're talking about now or moving forward are under the auspices of that organization.
Thank you.
Certainly.
And Matt, the university is prepared to pick up whatever shortfall the grant doesn't cover?
Yes.
I think we're estimating it about 41,000, whatever, 40,000, whatever it is, but whatever it turns out to be.
We're committed to doing that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is your enrollment stable, growing?
Yeah, so our enrollment has been actually growing in recent years. We just received national acclaim for our retention and graduation efforts. It's one thing to turn on the faucet faster, but it's another thing to plug the hole in the bucket. You lose most of your students nationwide when you go from first year to second year. And Ohio Wesleyan, leading up to my arrival, has doubled down on its efforts to tackle head-on all the reasons why students fail to persist from their first year to second year. I think nationally, the retention rate for first year to second year is somewhere in the 60s. Ohio Wesleyan reached a low point at one point of 77%, but just in the last few years, we rose to 83.4%, and that's a number that will continue to climb, we believe. And also, we have completely hyper-personalized and hyper-customized the student recruitment process. And I could say a lot about that, but everything from we're using AI and adaptive learning to know students better before they get to our campus. We give them now personalized tours that are customized to their interests. It's a one tour guide per one family approach. There are no more group tours. And we made the tour guide the best job on campus for students. So we're really bullish on the future. We're seeing all of these measures receive significant traction, and I think the future's bright.
So
Great.
your enrollment is,
The census date was
Growing.
1,451, but our projections are showing that we'll increase next year.
And that deadline's coming up, another month or month and a half.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting these days to talk about student recruitment because the federal government has been on a project to quote-unquote simplify the FAFSA process. That's the process for applying for student aid, federal student aid. And that so-called simplification effort has resulted in delay after delay. Typically, we'll exchange information with a student in October. The Department of Education is now projecting the middle to the end of March. So that makes a complex and stress kind of producing process even more anxiety riddled for students and families and colleges across the country. Now, to some degree, there is some relief in that most of us are in the same boat, but it is sort of discomforting to be in this situation. So that does make year-to-year comparisons all the more difficult. But every measure that we have, aside from deposits, which we can't measure meaningfully right now without that federal data, everything else shows that we are ahead of where we have been in recent years by leaps and bounds in terms of campus visits, in terms of engagements, in terms of completed applications.
Good to hear.
These are great questions, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio Wesleyan is a very important part of our community, and we certainly embrace the need for improving the campus. I mean, and I've obviously been around here forever, and campus is in great shape. It's really improved a lot over the last 10, 15 years, and it's good to see it continue to be the focus, to work on it. So I don't know, other questions? Good questions, good conversation. Well, thank you very much. I guess at this point, I would entertain a motion to, kind of similar to the Brownfield, authorize the chair, vice chair, treasurer to sign whatever documents are needed to process this application. This one should be a subrecipient agreement between the Land Bank and Ohio Wesleyan, but in case there's something else that comes up because of the complexity of this process, I would entertain that motion.
So
Is that
moved.
true that way? David?
Second.
Kyle, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the grant application is approved.
Thank you very much.
So-
Thank you for your partnership.
Yeah, and thank you. I know there's still a lot of work to be done between now and April 1st, but I'm confident we can get that done. And then we can talk, sometime after April 1st about the next phase, whether it makes sense with Beagley or something else to move forward as well.
Thank you. We're tremendously grateful for our partnership. Looking forward to a bright future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, I think that's it. We don't need, on the demolition work, we had basically the 4 houses in Powell, which we approved at the last meeting, so I don't think we really need anything there. And with the Wesleyan authorization now, again, I think that's it. Don't know if anybody else had other demolition or brownfield topics. Am I missing anything, Ally? You've been helping me through this. Karen? Anything am I missing?
I
I did have a question. So I know Genoa and Liberty Township were trying to get an application, and I can't remember if it was, I think it was demolition.
Yes, it was the old police station. That was part of the replacement projects for round one.
Okay. And that's already taken care of?
And that's all been approved.
Okay.
Authorized, ODOD signed off. So
And I
it's
know
just-
Liberty was here last meeting and was trying to get something
Yeah,
in.
yeah, they had some ideas on some work to be done around their facilities, but they weren't in a position that they would be ready.
So the next one that they would be eligible is if there's a round 3?
Round 3 for demolition.
Okay. And then when would that deadline?
Well, again, we're guessing because
Okay.
it hasn't been approved, but we think the legislation will be passed. We think it'll be in June, and probably it would be April 1st of '25.
Okay.
When the applications will be due, and then give them a year to June of '26 for the work to be completed.
Okay.
If they're consistent with prior rounds.
All right. They called me while I was here, so I'll pass that along.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and again, it'd be great, because it's, and also, like with the Bashford project, you know, if it runs above the limit, or the guaranteed amount, still, having 75% of the amount above the 500 or million is still very positive, so, you know, we can keep that in mind. Let's see, I'm gonna run through my list, just make sure we covered everything. Replacement. I think that's everything I had on my list. Other topics, Dave, Kyle, Gary, Sean? Okay. Ally, you got what you need? Karen, you got what you need? I don't want to miss anything. Justin, anything else? Oh, no problem.
Justin Navi, Director of Finance. Just an update, the brownfield application for the Channing, or not the Channing Street, the service station tank removal was given to Diane yesterday.
Okay, great.
I have to do the Phase 1 ESA. That should be done next week, and then.
That's the 5,100 that we.
Yeah,
okay.
that was approved, so that's the only update I have.
Okay, okay.
Thanks.
Well, we approved that application, so.
Okay, great,
We'll move
thanks.
forward. Thin, anything from your standpoint? I know you've been working, Thin Bowie is with our Economic Development Department, and she's out talking to all the jurisdictions and some of the private businesses, trying to promote the program and see if we can make effective use of this program. So Thin?
Thin Bowie, Economic Development Administrator. So I'm actually actively working on the gas station project in the village of Ashley. We met with the mayor of Ashley as well as the property owner about 3 weeks ago, and that's when the project came to our attention. I've spoken to Diane at length about this project. It's a total of 3 parcel in questions here. The gas tank, and currently the underground storage tanks and the gas station is on the middle parcel of this piece of land. The piece of land adjacent to it have gas pumps. So ideally, this gas station would like to become a Marathon branded gas station, completely demo the existing structure as well as removing the old underground storage tank. So there's just a lot of complicated nuances with this project that needs to be figured out. So we're going through that process right now. The owner of the property just had a asbestos survey done yesterday, so we're hoping to receive that report either on Monday or Tuesday of next week, and that should help guide our decision on how to approach the brownfield program.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add that this project would add anywhere between 10 to 14 full-time job employments within the community, which is a great asset to the community. And they do plan on adding sort of a small grocery portion within the gas station, because as of right now, the people of Ashley have to drive about 10 miles just to get to the closest grocery store. So they do want to incorporate that into the gas station to help support the community.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the location is a really important location. It's right in the main intersection there in Ashley.
It
so.
is, and the mayor of Ashley is very excited for this project. He's thinks it could be the start of a revival for the village of Ashley downtown.
Right. Yeah, that's great. It's great. So,
I'll keep working on it and
Okay.
keep the board posted.
yep, very good. Thank you,
I'll
Dan.
just add, the mayor is very enthusiastic. I think he's trying to do a lot of things to improve the community, and I think he's been very proactive and in this area and other areas, so
Yeah.
kudos to him.
Yeah, it's good to see, you know, appreciate you working with them. We've got other programs that we can help them with as well, and you're very much aware of those, so. Good to see. Okay, I don't have anything else. I think we're all set. With that, we will adjourn the meeting.